Unbelievable, my husband knocked over his bookshelves again. The room is now so dusty I can't go inside. He's a bookman. Glory of the kingdom, compendium of ornament, technology, guide to the Roland region, the Sectian Church and the Bracer Guild. I assume he's like being like intense, like, yes, look at this knowledge, such glorious knowledge. I wonder where that book I just bought the other day went. Looks like I'm going to have to put these books in order. Yeah, there's no clicking on a book. Yeah, there's no, like, I'm sure anyone that's played RPG knows. You go to a bookcase, you press A, and it gives you some waffle on information if it's nothing at all. So this is I mean, fair enough, that it saves you time. You just go into a room and you know, unless there's a chest or something, or people to talk to, you don't need to click on everything. Saves you time, I guess. But bad habits don't break easily. That boy, where could Luke have gone? He took off without a bite of breakfast. Right, now I will earnestly try and get to where we're supposed to be going. I assume the arrow is pointing north on the map, not where we're supposed to be going. Oh, so this is the port. And we're trying to get to the training ground, so it should be the other way. That's a clock tower. Mayor's house. There's probably signs I'm missing out on like an idiot that'll tell me where I need to go. Bear with me. Almost time to start our training, Estelle. Found it! Let's head over to the guild house on the South Avenue. Right, so it's south. Ah, there you go, it's a building. I'm a derp, there we go. Thank you, game. These, there you two are. Good morning, Estelle. Good morning, Joshua. Morning, Ina. Good morning. Is Shrana here already? Yeah, she's waiting for you upstairs. Once you finish today's training, you'll finally be recognised as members of the Bracer Guild. This is probably going to teach us how to do combat. Thanks. We'll do our best. We're going to try something. See if that does anything. Oh yes, it's like other RPGs I've played. You can choose who you control based on the order and the combat stuff. Here we go. I am using cards and shit. This anyway, the Japanese seem to have a large interest in tarot cards. It's why they're so prominent in the Persona series and stuff. So you can always tell when there's a character using tarot cards that they're a big deal. The Hermit and the Magician. It's for inversion through the Wheel of Fortune. I don't know how tarot cards work exactly myself. I've only experienced them in certain games and stuff. It's just a gimmick to play off. I do know they're used for telling the future or interpreting what could be. Fortune telling, essentially, with cards instead of a giant ball and stuff. But visiting Estelle and Joshua. This is a rare occasion for the both of you to show up so early. Since it's my last day of training, I figured why not. I'm ready to get this show on the road and become a bracer myself. I'll give you credit for your enthusiasm, but I'm going to work you hard today in every way I can think of to make sure the high-spirited attitude of yours holds up. Hope you're ready. I can feel that enthusiasm dropping already. Quiet, you. Every time I teach you something, you somehow manage to forget it. This training is my way of trying to keep some of that information in your head instead of letting it dribble out of your ears like it usually does. What Joshua's kind of making of me. Don't worry, Shriner. Well, Estelle may hate studying and rarely ever does her homework, acts rashly and overly naive and has a tendency to stick her nose into everything. Her instincts are sharp, and so I'm sure she'll pick up on how to use an augment with some practice, eventually, probably. I like Joshua. He's honest to a fault. I guess there's not much I can do now except hope for the best. Hold on a sec, Joshua. Somehow I get the feeling that you weren't standing up for me. Well, that's odd. I'm positive I described all your best traits accurately. By the way, Shredder, what were you trying to predict with your tarot cards? Your face was really intent. I think she meant intense, but oh, this. I was just trying to get a vague reading about what might happen in the near future. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have been in the right mindset to interpret the cards correctly. You couldn't read the cards? Now that's surprising to hear. Actually, the more profound the meaning of the cards, the more difficult they become to interpret. That's more important. Now I think it's time to start with our training. Brief rundown of all the information we've covered in your previous training. This is the minimal level of knowledge that bracers should have in order to function effectively. And Estelle, make sure you pay especially close attention to what I'm going to say. Yeah. Okay, about augments. Augments are mechanical devices which operate by using what is known as orbal energy. Okay, a variety of effects can be produced depending on their structure. So if what we're seeing on the screen is, if I'm interpreting it correctly, imagine the magical clockwork devices that give you some kind of a power, maybe, if I'm guessing correctly, which is very, not steampunk. Won't that be steampunk, since they do use a lot of clockwork stuff, but it is very, yeah, that's interesting. So that could mean someone that's very good at manufacturing clocks, but in this world would be like, oh god, I've made the ultimate weapon! A really fancy clock of destruction! A variety of effects can be produced depending on the structure and the type of quartz or process substance. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty much magical weaponized clocks that don't tell the time but kill people or protect them and stuff. What material they use depends on what effects they use, basically. Although it's only been about 50 years since their invention. Oh, so so it'd be like the industrial era. People haven't min-maxed the effects of these devices yet, so there's probably it wouldn't surprise me if there was some wars happening or have happened in this world because of these weapons. Like every time a new weapon is invented, some idiot wants to test it out on the battlefield. It's only been about 50 years since their invention. The devices play an integral role in all facets. Though it's a fantasy game, we all know that weapons are used against monsters in most cases. That's usually their original purpose. There's a first mention of airships. In connection, this technological reforming, commonly known as the Orbal Revolution. There you go, yep, it's like the Industrial Revolution. I'll stop the recording here, and next video we'll start finding out about places.